Yes, good morning, everybody. And now, unfortunately, the Coast Guard has begun the grim task of treating this as a recovery mission following that collapse of the bridge just a little more than 24 hours ago. And just a quarter mile from where we're standing here, where 6 men have been presumed dead. Donald Trump shot during a campaign rally in western Pennsylvania. The Republican frontrunner and attendees running for cover as Trump was rushed off the stage with blood coming out of his ear. We'll have more on the major developments that we've gotten from overnight, plus what comes next. The Sunday edition of News 8 Today starts right now.
WGAL News 8 begins with breaking news.
It's July 14th, 2024. Good Sunday morning. I'm Jay Scott Smith, and the big story this morning is the assassination attempt on Donald Trump last night in Butler County. The videos and pictures from the incident capture the chaos that unfolded when shots rang out at this rally around 6:10 p.m. on Saturday evening. And this is Jay Scott Smith. We're out here in South Hanover Township, and behind us here, this house fire, the first calls on it came in about 5 a.m. There were people inside of the home at the time, but they have all gotten out of the house. Now,
This is coverage you can count on with a WGAL News 8 update.
Good Monday morning. I'm Jay Scott Smith, and this morning in Harrisburg, a murder investigation is underway after a man was killed just a few blocks from the Capitol building on Sunday. This stretch of Route 30 that's going to close here in Lancaster County is a part of an ongoing project that seeks to remake a very important road here in the Susquehanna Valley. Yes, good morning, everybody. And there have been legitimate concerns over the safety and integrity of the voting process, and people are just trying to sift through what's real and what's not. Now, this debunked Russian viral video. Breast Cancer Awareness Month is rightfully focused on women. More than 250,000 cases were reported in women in 2022 alone. However, even though it's rare, men, too, are also susceptible to breast cancer. In fact, the window that Caitlin's referring to, that window is that one right there. It's above that sign at the LG Food grocery store. And it was a wild scene out here last night. 5 people were taken to the hospital after they were forced to jump from that second-story window. And I know you hear the phrase, a new trend on social media, a lot. But trust me on this one. This one is different. Now, as you can tell, I'm wearing orange. And this is to highlight the Turnpike Commission's Go Orange campaign, which is meant to highlight their commitment to safety. And very clearly, it is very snowy out here in Dauphin County. We're actually near Swatera Township. And if you can see it, that's 283. Game 2 of the World Series was last night in L.A. Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam made history in Game 1, and the Dodger bats got going early last night. Bottom of the second, L.A.'s Tommy Edman takes Carlos Rodon deep to left field. That solo home run put the Dodgers up 1-0, and Chavez Ravine is going crazy. And that even includes Freeman and Clayton Kershaw in the Dodgers dugout. And this afternoon at the Meadowlands, it's the 3-2 Philadelphia Eagles playing their first divisional game of the season against the 2-4 New York Football Giants. And this will mark the return of former Giant and Penn State running back Saquon Barkley to MetLife Stadium. Now, after spending the first 6 years of his career with Big Blue, the Giants let him walk in the offseason, and he quickly signed a 3-year deal with the Birds. And the former Nittany Lion has looked every bit like the star they thought they were getting. Now, Saquon says he's looking forward to returning to North Jersey, but adds this is bigger than just his return.
The game is this.
From the Kick House in Hummelstown, I'm Jay Scott Smith. Kicking it this morning here in Hummelstown. Back to you in the studio.
All right.
Outside of the Lidditz Church of the Brethren, dozens of T-shirts line the yard, each carrying the name of a victim of gun violence. More than 60 in total. It's called the Memorial to the Lost, a stark reminder of the indiscriminate danger of guns. Jim Grossnickel Batterson is the church's pastor.
I think any time that a child of God's life is cut short, we have lost the potential that life represents.
The names on these shirts are strictly from Lancaster or Lancaster County. Batterson was first approached by the pastor at Harrisburg's Church of the Brethren about putting up a memorial and notes that it's jarring to people in the community who see these shirts as a reminder of just how pervasive gun violence is.
Gun violence is not an urban-rural divide. There are people throughout the country who are suffering from gun violence.
So all of these names are stark reminders of lives lost. But this hits especially hard for Corinne Seals.
There's about five names up there that I know.
Seals' brother Brandon, along with her cousin Dominique Boyer, both have their names on shirts in this memorial.
They were cousins, first cousins. So it's like my brother passed in 2011, he passed in 2014. So it was just tragic to our entire family.
Corinne, along with her mother, has started a foundation called Triumph Through Tragedy that helps support children who've lost loved ones to gun violence. She's also reached out to state legislators and demanded more be done to curb the amount of guns on the streets. And while she tries to maintain a positive attitude, it's difficult for her to see the names of so many friends and lost loved ones.
It's very heartbreaking to just know that these young men and women had a full life ahead of them. And some of them were just caught in a crossfire. The bullet wasn't even meant for them. And you just think about the children that are just fatherless and motherless. And it's just very heartbreaking.
In Lidditz, I'm J. Scott Smith, WGAL News 8. By all appearances, Lonnie Walter looks like your typical, healthy 10-year-old girl.
She is kind of like a little ball of energy.
She loves activities. She loves swimming. She likes riding her bike, playing with her sister, running around out with her friends in the neighborhood. She's, just like any other 10-year-old girl.
Beneath the surface, however, she's battling a disease that leaves her open to all sorts of illnesses. Lonnie's mother, Ashley, first noticed something was wrong when Lonnie was just a baby.
About 2 months old, she had eczema from like the top of her head down to her feet, just full body eczema, and started to get sick more often with respiratory infections, ear infections.
Lonnie has DOC8 deficiency, which, according to the National Institute of Health, is a genetic autoimmune disorder that causes people to produce a lower number of immune cells. Within 9 months, more issues started to surface with Lonnie, including food allergies. They were so bad that she needed an EpiPen, and the Walters went searching for answers.
DOC8 kind of helps to arrange the skeleton inside your cell that lets it talk to other cells and do their job the right way.
Dr. Jennifer Heimel works in the Allergy and Immunology Department at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Lonnie was one of the first to come into her clinic, and she quickly spotted some of the common signs of DOC8.
I have seen quite a few patients with DOC8 deficiency, but it is an exceedingly rare disease.
DOC8 is an extremely rare disorder, and it gets progressively worse as a child gets older. It can lead to sepsis in kids and cancers such as leukemia and lymphoma once they enter their 20s. Lonnie's father, Kyle, says normal illnesses are dangerous for the 10-year-old.
If somebody comes over with like a small cold, she'll get that same cold, but she'll have it for, 6 weeks straight. And that's kind of, and then when she recently got COVID and was hospitalized with COVID, and that was a real kind of a wake-up call for us.
Lonnie was hospitalized with COVID for 6 weeks, and she still has a lingering cough. There is a cure for DOC8 through a bone marrow transplant, something often associated with cancer treatments and sickle cell disease. Ashley and Kyle, along with Lonnie's 14-year-old sister Maylee, got tested to see if one of them is a perfect match. It turns out that none of them were. All three were partial matches, with her sister being a 9 out of 10.
Which sounds really great, and when they first brought it up to me, I was like, oh, okay.
9 out of 10, sounds great.
But with bone marrow transplants, it's best if you can get a 10 out of 10 match.
Frustrated, Ashley turned to social media to encourage people to join the bone marrow donor registry in search of that perfect match.
So I made a post on Reddit that got like 6.4 million views, just to kind of help. And so many people on that post were saying, I didn't even know that I could do this. A lot of people know about organ donation, but they don't know that they can do the bone marrow donation while they're still alive.
While that post is driving thousands of registrations, the clock is still ticking for Lonnie. So next week, Ashley begins the process of donating her bone marrow. Doctors will perform the transplant next month at the National Institute of Health in Bethesda, Maryland.
As her mom, I'm a half match, and her doctors feel like that is a better route to go with than the 9 out of 10 matches.
Ashley's trying to remain positive, but she and the entire family know just how risky this all is.
It is scary, but we have been thinking about this for a long time.
And now we're kind of at the point where we really can't wait much longer.
In Mount Gretna, I'm J. Scott Smith, WGAL News 8.